Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's Thor series for race 8 out of 9. So we're nearly close to the end. This race though is going to be held at Yamagiwa and Miyabi, 4.25 miles in length, 19 corners, very red on the tyre damage indicator. It's also a very long circuit, not just in distance but in lap time as well. Also, some very fast corners around here. Let's take a quick look at the current championship standings then with 2 races to go. Demon R leading the way, 131 points. Steve F1 9 behind him. SGP not too far away in that battle for third, just ahead of Conrad, who's ahead of Art Pal in 5th, Jason 6th, David Harp in 7th, Formula Gary in 8th, Jimmy and Twilight tied 9th, Rich Blues in 11th, SRI in 12th, Hay in 13th, Fluffy in 14th, Bunsell in 15th, Mitch in 16th. Okay, let's get ready then to look at the qualifying result for race 8 then. And on pole position is Demon R once again with a 151.293, got half a second gap to SGP in second place. On road 2 it's going to be Steve F1, very close to SGP's time and very close to Conrad's time as well in 4th. The top 4 very close indeed. Okay, on row 3 in 5th place we've got Jason, who only just missed out on that second row. He's joined by Twilight in 6th place. In 7th, it's DGT League SRI, 1.2 off qualifying pace, but only 2/10 ahead of Art Pal, who'll start in 8th place. Tricky place to start that on this particular track with a very short run down to turn 1. Formula Gary, he'll start in 9th place and he's joined by Jimmy in 10th place, and then we've got Rich Blues in 11th with no time set. I'm sure it's strategic that from Rich. I don't know what the strategy is, but I'm sure it's strategic. Few drivers missing today unfortunately. Hey, hope you're feeling better. Bunsell busy with work, Mitch away, Dave on holiday sunning himself. Hope Tina Turner didn't do anything she shouldn't have done, Dave. But yeah, so a few drivers missing, but we're still going to head over to the track for what should be one hell of a race. No idea what strategies people are going to use because those tyres are going to suffer big time. It could all come down to what happens in the last few moments in a race like this today. Okay, it's time. So here we go. Let's hand over to our noisy commentators. So here we go then, Yamagiwa and Miyabi 2, Ray in the commentary box with me. How are you?
I'm doing very well. 1 red light, 2 red light,
3,
red light.
4, 5. How many more? None, because they're going to go out and away they go. And that's the weirdest way I've started a race so far. I cut you off midstream there as well. I mean, with the lights not having a pee. Down into turn 1.
As we see Steve F1, getting a move done on SGP, and Conrad as well, going for a move.
Yeah, SGP did. Conrad dipping a wheel. SGP did not have a good start to the race, did he? He was on the front row. He's now in 4th, coming under a load of pressure. I wonder whether he was maybe trying to look after his tyres off the start, as SRI got a little bit squirrely out of the Harpin. And Demon R and Steve F1 making their way into Fist Bumps 2. Fist Bumps 1 comes a little bit later, and so does Conrad's stability. That'll come eventually. Is he trying to clean up his tyres or warm them up, do you reckon, Ray?
I think it was a curb that was helping him there.
Okay, SGP still trying to fend off SRI as they make their way through the maybe eyes. Oh, SRI having a look. Is he looking? Yes, he is. He's not. No, he is. No, he's not. As they now make their way to Fist Bumps 1. If you want to know. Oh,
he's looking too much now. And Gary's made 2 places.
Yeah. Yeah, Gary up to 4th now. Brilliant start for him. Demon R pulling away a little bit on Steve F1. We should mention here quickly, Ray, that the tyre wear around this track is going to be nasty, isn't it?
Yeah. The long, fast swooping corners. As we see Steve F1, is he going for a move? He's going to go for the switchback.
He's going to try, and then he couldn't.
No.
Yeah, I think Demon R sort of covered off the switchback, but now he's going up the inside. No, he's not. Is he going to go to the outside? Yes, he is. Maybe we'll go for a switchback here, Ray.
Yeah, round the outside.
Well,
I don't think he was in a position to go in the switchback. I think he was too far ahead of Demon R, as we see. Demon R sorts in behind him.
Yeah, Conrod closing in on them now. Gary and SGP were battling on the pack cam as well, as we can now see them. So Gary trying to hold on to that 4th place at the moment. The pack cam now on that lead battle. So I'll have to keep an eye on the pack cam for that. SGP looks like he's in a bit of a rush to get past Gary here.
Yeah, but what he doesn't want to do is rush it too much, that he's burning up his tyres by trying to brake that little bit later or get on the accelerator to that millisecond early.
Absolutely. I tell you what he want, what he really want. He really nice tyres. SRI then, he's dropped off a little bit from SGP. We've got Jason and Twilight right behind him, who were battling side by side. Jimmy there as well. Jimmy, I don't believe, has had any practice other than the sort of 20 minutes before qualifying. On the pack cam, Demon R close once again to Steve F1. SGP up the inside. No, sorry. Yeah, SGP gone wide. SRI up the inside.
Yeah, but Gary's given SGP the slipstream, so what can SRI do? Is he going for a switch?
I could do anything. I'm not
Was that? Did they say that or sing that?
Well, I don't know. Oh, Demon R's got a bit of a run on Steve F1 down into the final corner. Is he having a look up the inside? He is a little bit, but I don't think he's really trying to force the issue. Oh, Steve F1 runs a little bit wide. Because what I was going to mention was, Ray, it's all right being quick around here as SGP and SRI into the pits early. I think as well, Art Powell pitted at the end of lap 1, I'm being told. Jason battling now with Gary. Jason passing Gary. Yeah, the faster you are around here, the more you're going to punish your tyres, potentially.
Yeah, Jason's got quite a bit better wear than Gary there. So, yeah, Jason looking after his tyres.
When it comes to stint lengths on the pack cam, Steve F1 still only just ahead of Demon R. Yeah, stint lengths, I think we'll be lucky to see people get to 10 minutes. If people can get to 10 minutes, they're on for a good 3-stop strategy. Those that have just pitted, what now? Well, I have no idea what their strategy is going to be. Jimmy coming under a bit of pressure from Rich Blues here down towards the right-hander with no name before, maybe eyes.
Maybe oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the name we gave a corner. Side by side, Gary and Twilight were there, and Jimmy's closing him. Demon R all over the back of Star. What a camera angle that is! Oh, what a move that is! Up the inside, side by side they go. Looks like Steve F1 may have got the better exit out the corner. I mean, maybe it was a bit of a late move by Demon R there. On the pack cam, still a lot going on, but yeah, perhaps Demon R's trying to put a bit of pressure on Steve F1. If you look at how much tyre wear they've got, or Demon R's got, that's more than good enough at the 5-minute stage if you're going to do a 10-minute stint.
Yeah, a 5-minute stage, yeah. He could go another 5 minutes at least.
Yeah, easy. Well, that's what I'm thinking. So maybe Demon R was just following Steve F1 for a little bit and now putting the pressure on. Gary got a little nudge from Twilight from behind. Art Pal's in that battle as well. And here comes Demon R on the back of Steve F1. I mean, this is one of the situations as well, Ray, where you don't really want to be the hunted. You'd much rather be the car behind, where you can just lift off, cruise it, look after your tyres, don't worry about it, make the other person look in the mirrors, which is what I think Demon R is trying to do. As Art Pal having a look up the inside of Gary on the pack cam.
Demon R's getting closer, but yeah, look at that battle. Yeah, SRI, SGP, Art Pal.
Oh, side by side for the lead. Sorry, I thought Demon R was going to go a little bit wide there. We're still staring Steve F1. Well, I think Steve F1 giving Demon R plenty of room, but that may allow Demon R to have the better run. And yeah, it is a lead change for the moment. So maybe Demon R is thinking, right, time to pick up the pace and see if Steve F1's tyres can handle it. Conrod's front left look knackered.
Yeah, Jason's tyre's still looking good.
Yeah, so are SRIs, but he's pitted recently. Gary hasn't.
Yeah, Gary, he's doing well. He's got 4 on the back of him, and he's trying his best to keep them
3 on
there.
the 4 on the back, 2 on the side, 1 on the front. As long as he's not got 1 on top, he'll be all right, and the missus won't be moaning. Well, hang on. Take that however you will, folks. But yeah, Gary's going to struggle with that tyre wear. Artpal up the inside. Artpal, as I mentioned, pitted at the end of the first lap. So although he's going to have fresher tyres, it may not be as fresh as SGP, who pitted 2 minutes ago, or 4 minutes ago, sorry. So yeah, a lot of different strategies going on. I think for most of the drivers, the main strategy should be just keep it on the racetrack. Oh, and someone didn't. Was that Gary going wide?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was. He's not on the top 8 of the standings. So yeah, Conrad also into the pits.
Yeah, let's see. SGP's back in the pits.
Is he? Oh, well.
Yeah.
Okay, God knows what he's up to then.
He pitted at the same time.
Ooh, Twilight went for a little run over the grass there. Very easily done. That can happen when the tyres wear a little more. Well, I wonder if SGP is doing something that he used to do some time ago, which was if he found himself at the back catching the pack, sort of catch the pack, pit, get fresh tyres, get a bit of space, and then catch the pack again. So maybe he's working the pit stops now to try and fix a strategy in a little later on. Jimmy's gone deep!
Yeah, I'm in Rich having a battle. Jimmy just a wee bit late on the brakes there.
Absolutely. Gary making the move there on Jimmy because of that. So SRI, Artpal and Twilight, they haven't pitted recently, have they? No. And Jason is only just ahead of SRI. So I'm wondering if SRI's tied. No, SRI's pitted, hasn't he?
Yeah, he pitted a few laps ago.
Okay, so it'd be Artpal then that's got the slightly more worn tyres. I don't know if Jason has pitted or not. There's already been Okay. Ooh. So yeah, so Jason with worn tyres is coming under a lot of pressure now. And what we'll find is, Ray, as I'm sure you'll know, a car on fresh tyres against a car on worn tyres. The car on worn tyres has got no chance. As SRI's going to go around the outside of the final corner. And Demon Art peels into the pits.
Yeah, Steve F1 keeps going.
Ooh.
SRI, Jason's in the pits.
Yep, Conrad.
So up. Yeah, Conrad coming through the pack. Sorry.
Yep, I was going to say Conrad pitted a lap ago, so he's battling with Artpal now. Round the outside he goes. So I think Conrad and SRI could be on for a bit of a scrap here with Artpal right behind them. Jimmy and Demon R are side by side as Jimmy's come out of the pits. No, Demon R. Did I say Jimmy's come out of the pits or Demon R's come out of the pits? I don't know. SRI up the inside of Conrad. No, it's Conrad around the outside of SRI. What a move.
Yeah. And that just shows you the fresher tyres as well.
Absolutely. Just quickly looking at the pack, we've got Rich.
Conrad's went deep into that corner.
Oh dear.
Yeah, his tyres have just helped him.
Yep, Rich and Jimmy battling with Demon R closing in on the back of them. Demon R could do without being held up in any traffic. Steve F1 though, I do wonder what his tyres might be like at the moment. As Jimmy tagging the back of Rich. Demon R doing a bit of a switch back on him. Gary though, is that Gary further ahead in Twilight? Yes, it is. Side by side through the maybe eyes. As Rich and Jimmy are almost side by side as well. Gary, can he get the move done into fist bumps one? Yes, he can.
Yeah, and there's Demon R. Twilight's slower because he was defending from Gary, so Demon R's managed to make up a place as well, and Twilight's going backwards now.
He is, isn't he? I'm wondering if Twilight's tyres are knackered because Demon R's went round the outside of him rather too easily, and here comes Jimmy and Rich Blues, but Jimmy's off.
Where is Jimmy go?
Where did you know what? We might find out on the pack cab later. No, sorry, we won't. It's on the thumbnail of the picture. The thumbnail of the picture, the thumbnail for the video. Rich Blues on the back of Demon R at the moment. The sun really must have got to me the last couple of days. Gary's gone wide. Can he save it? Oh, just about. Rich nearly lost it as well behind him. Demon R on Artpal now down into turn 1. Jason not too far behind making a move on Rich. Steve F1 is in the pits. He's lost a lot of ground to Demon R, but would expect that as Conrad dips a wheel off. Rich Blues, and is that SGP? Ooh!
Oh, ETL.
Yeah, track limits. You tell him, Rich.
Oh, Rich, yeah. He's like, Demon R, SRI.
Yeah, Demon R, I think he's just got past SRI. Didn't quite see that on the main camera. But I'm guessing SRI, yeah, look at SRI's tyre wear. He'll be struggling on those tyres, whereas Demon R's are only 2 minutes old. Gary, he's having a cracking race at the moment, isn't he? Or at least he's been right in the thick of it. Yeah. Jason, I think, has got slightly fresher tyres than Gary, so Jason will be hoping to try and pull away. The problem is that SGP is there as well. Let's see, Conrad, though, leading the race now. Let's see how he's going to be able to get on in this second stint of here's SGP and Gary side by side through maybe eyes, and SGP makes the move.
Just wait till it's maybe no.
Yeah. But I tell you what, there's a lot of overtakes going on here. As Rich runs wide. Jimmy making the move.
Jimmy through, yeah. It's hard because it's a downhill braking, and then you've got to be hard on the brake, so a lot of the drivers are going to struggle with that corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Jimmy making a nice move on Gary there. Gary may have a run back at him, though. He's going to have to slot in behind. Gary may be able to have a look up the inside into the final corner. SGP and Jason, they're all over the back of SRI.
SRI. Yeah, SRI struggling. He's going.
His tyres are done, aren't they? As a few drivers peel into the pits. That'll give Jason a sigh of relief. We'll look at his mirrors. There was loads of cars. Now there's only 2.
The SGP back in the pits as well.
Bloody hell. Maybe he's trying to beat Dave's record from the other week. Demon R on the back of Conrad now. I mentioned about Conrad, how far can he go on this stint? That's because he pitted after about 8 minutes, I think, or 7-8 minutes, something like that. Demon R round the outside with a fresher tyre. I tell you what, Demon R's tyres are 4 minutes old, and look how fresh they're looking.
Yeah, he's just taking a Sunday stroll with his tyres. Conrad's.
Oh dear.
Don't want to be over there.
Definitely not. Gary all over the back of Jimmy. Steve F1. So Steve F1 having pitted, he's still, I mean, he's not really gaining loads at the moment, is he? He's made the move on Gary. Gary's struggling on his tyres, but still trying to sort of pressure Steve F1, which is absolutely fine to do if you don't run wide. Steve F1 now making the move on Jimmy ahead. Yeah, side by side they go. Steve F1 is through. I think Jimmy may be struggling a little bit on his tyres now as well. I can't remember when he pitted.
I don't know when he pitted. I can't remember at all.
I can't either.
In that corner there's a bump in the corner that puts you off sometimes. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think you could be absolutely right. Jason has just made a move on. No, he's not made it yet. He's all over the back of Conrad.
Here comes Gary on the back of Jimmy.
Yeah, and I think both of those guys have got fairly worn tyres.
Great battles as we've got SGP as well. I've just commentated cursed it, haven't I?
Yeah.
SRI with his tyres.
Well, I think Gary's going to be wanting to go to the pits soon. Conrad's in at the pits. SRI. Jimmy and Gary go. It's a big crash into the pit lane. There's 4 of them in the pits. Conrad was there by choice. He was nowhere near the other 3. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Maybe
I don't think SRI wanted the pits if he just already pitted.
Well, you never know. He may be copying SGP's strategy. He also might not be. So those 3 have come out of the pits now. Yeah, those 3 come out of the pits. Then Jimmy just behind Gary and SRI. What have we got up at the front? I'm just sort of looking at the tower. Demon R, Jason, Twilight, the top 3 at the moment. Demon R pulling away from Jason. Jimmy, though, with fresh tyres with Gary and SRI. Art Powell, a quick look at him. So he's catching up to Steve F1. He's got fresher tyres than Steve F1 at the moment.
Yeah, do you think Steve F1 left his pit stop too late?
Well, I am thinking yes. But then saying that, there's so much action here, so many different strategies. Rich Blue's closing in on Artpal. SRI just made a move on Jimmy on the pack cam. Oh, Artpal having a look at the inside of Steve F1. Can't quite get it done. And on they go. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to tell. I mean, in some ways, this race could simply come down to the last 10 minutes and when people pit and where they pit from, as Conrad makes the move on Rich, closing up quickly. Conrad on brand new tyres, but Artpals aren't exactly old now. He's having a look around the outside of Steve F1. Can't quite do it. That's going to allow Conrad to get closer, and let's get ready for chaos in the final corner.
Yeah, the Artpal taking the tighter line. Oh, I thought they were going to go for the pits there.
Artpal looking to make a move.
He's got the move done, and now Conrad's free white.
I don't know if Steve F1 was going defensive or offensive, but Connor was going for the overtake, and yeah, it looked a little messy. They survived. Oh, Conrad's off.
Conrad's off.
Oh, you've got to be so careful of that, especially around this track. I mean, the last thing you want to do as well around it is spin, isn't it?
Yeah, and he didn't gain advantage because Steve F1 got the place back.
Absolutely. Looks like we're actually riding on board with Conrad on the pack cam at the moment. So yeah, I don't know whether it was on board with Conrad down into turn 1. But yeah, it did look a little bit like 2 cars trying to overtake 3 cars into 1, which isn't easy to do. So Artpal then in 5th place at the moment. A little bit of a gap to Conrad. That battle has actually kind of helped Artpal out a little bit, hasn't it? SGP, 50 pit stops, running in 4th at the moment, closing in on Twilight.
Oh yeah, Twilight. I've seen him a few times in battles, but he's been very quiet in this race so far.
Yeah, that is true. Well, you see,
this is a corner, see that bump on
yeah.
SGP's car. You had it wrong, you keep going, as we see a battle down at the back there. SRI and something.
Yeah, it's SRI and Steve F1 behind Conrad as SGP. Having a look up the inside of Twilight, maybe a little touch there. They both survive. Conrad has got Steve F1 alongside him as well as SRI behind him. Gary and Rich Blue's there, but Twilight and SGP still going side by side. That's exactly how you do it. And on the pack cam is how you don't do it.
Steve F1 right into the
Demon R into the pits. Gary, is that Gary off or is that Twilight off? It's Twilight off. Oh, it's Jimmy spinning. There's loads of cars in the pit lane as well. Oh, loads kicking off there.
Yeah.
I don't know if what was
where
happening.
do we keep up with?
Yeah, well,
here's the guy that's got his 80s tracksuit on his car.
Yeah, followed by the guy that's got his wedding suit on. So yeah, Artpal leading the way at the moment. Conrad, his tyres aren't looking too bad. You know what, if he can go another couple of minutes and then pit, he could do it with just 2 more pit stops. But I fear he may be, with limited practice. Oh, cheeky look. Cheeky look. Oh, big sideways, and that's the difficulty of taking the tight line on the pack cam. We've got a battle for 6th and 7th, Jason and somebody, unless it's now looking at someone else. No, yeah, it's Jason and SGP and Twilight. Artpal holds on to the lead. So yeah, Demon R's pitted. He's in 5th now, so he's ahead of Jason, who pitted at the same time. So did I think SGP, Twilight, Steve F1. And maybe some others. But what we've now got is Formula Gary running in 3rd. And Rich Blues in 4th. Oh, not for long. He's now in 5th. Demon R's up to 4th.
Yeah. Oh, great racing from these guys. Look at that. Especially Gary up into 3rd.
Yeah.
He'll be changing that number to a 1 and sending a screenshot to his wife.
Oh, he might be. Conrad all over the back of Artpal. Very close, but good racing this as they battle. Oh, Conrad's tyres have taken a bit of punishment, haven't they? His front left has taken about 25% punishment on that 1 lap alone. Is he going to go for the move? Artpal covers the inside. It's a good defence down the inside into 1. You just have to be careful, though.
Conrad won't have the knowledge of how the tyres would feel because he's got his time limited on his practice.
Yep. Don't you mean he's time attack limited? Sorry, time trial limited. But no, you're absolutely right. Oh, we got Gary. Jason. What a move. Well, out of nowhere, in comes the Swede. Nearly takes 2 places, took 1. So Demonar was trying to pass Gary there, and I think Jason just took advantage of a little gap that was up the inside. I mean, I can imagine to the drivers, Demonar and Gary, it may have seemed like a very late move, but it didn't look like it there.
Gary doesn't have to go. He's like, there's a car there, there's a car there.
Oh, Twilight's just ran straight off the road. I can tell you where Gary does need to go. He needs to go left, right, left. So Steve F1 now on the back of SRI. Down into the getting ready for the fist bumps, but Artpal still putting Conrad under pressure. So Conrad got the move done, took the lead. Artpal's tyres are now probably just as knackered as Conrad's, but as I was saying, if these guys could go those extra couple of minutes, I think these guys could do pit now, do 1 more pit stop, so 2 more pit stops from here. They should be able to get to the end and potentially with a decent pace, but it depends on how many minutes they've been able to do on their tyres. Artpal's really closing in. Conrad goes defensive. Is that an early sign of him going for the pits, Ray?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is. The both of them.
Yeah, they're both in the pits.
Oh, yeah. Oh, guess what? SGP's in the pits.
He's in the pits again.
Yeah.
Demonar coming out the pits just ahead.
No, Demonar's not pits.
Not has Conrad. No, yeah, is it?
Who are? No.
That is Demonar.
Yeah, it is Demonar, but he didn't come out of the pits. Demonar pitted 3.5 minutes ago. What?
Alright, just the way it looked on track is the way it was coming out.
No, I think basically what has happened is with Conrad and Artpal pitting, and obviously with these guys having pitted sort of 4 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, and a lot of them pitting at the same time, the gap, the lead that Demonar had has come down dramatically to what we could see between Jason and Demonar there. So Steve F1 right in this fight again, and when you think about it, could really do with finishing ahead of Demonar in this race. When we look at the championship standings, Demonar leading that at the moment, but Steve F1 on a bit of a charge, especially with Demonar's mistake last week. Oh, Twilight's just made a mistake. That's let Conrad past him. Conrad's now going to have Gary to contend with, but Steve F1 is either trying to look after his tyres here or is finding it a little bit tough to get past Jason.
Yeah, we know Jason can look after his tyres and be fast, so depends when did Steve F1 last pit. Is he his tyres
same time as Jason and Demonar?
Because SRI seems to be causing more than Steve F1 causing on Jason.
I think you could be absolutely right. But yeah, I think the current top 4.
I think he's got his foot to the floor. And he's
on the inside he goes. He's having a look, but Jason will lang this around the outside. Can he get a good exit? Ooh. Conrad got a little wobbly as well. Steve F1 having a look up the inside, then tucks back in. Interesting, I think Steve F1 wants the overtake around the outside here because you can get a better run around the outside, but he's had to cover off SRI. You mentioned he was closing in. He's closed right in and Twilight's plummeting. I think his tyres are dead. Demonar's pulling away now with this battle that's going on. And here comes Conrad, Artpal and Jimmy closing in on Jason, SRI and Conrad. Jason, Steve F1 and SRI is what I meant to say.
And there's Artpal coming through behind, taking Jimmy. So yeah, SRI's dropped from Steve F1 because he's got Conrad on the back.
Ooh, can he get it slowed down? Can he get it slowed down? Yes, he can. He'll use the grip now, but will it cost him later on? We'll have to wait and see. I think someone just kicked up a bit of tyre smoke there. But yeah, this is a great battle going on for second place because that's what it is. There's like 8 cars battling for second here. Demonar pulled away a little bit more. Steve F1 under pressure. Steve may benefit from letting Conrad go here, you know, Ray.
Yeah, I could let him attack Jason and then just follow on behind.
Absolutely, yeah, you see, I think that's exactly what Steve F1's doing. He's thinking, okay, Conrad, if you want to go and use your fresh tyres, I'll let you.
Well, he needs to get past first.
That he does.
past SRI as well, so
yes.
SRI's coming.
Yeah, SGP got past SRI too. So yeah, Steve F1 running a little bit wide there on the entry into corner. Connor though, he's got a good run on the back of Jason. I think he'll be making the move straight away. Steve F1 may have just dropped back a little bit too far. He's now under pressure from Arpal.
Oh yeah, Steve F1 has dropped.
I wonder if he's had a bit of a moment. So Conrod's going to try and go around the outside. Oh, nearly do it. There's a couple of cars in the pits. Jimmy, Steve F1 and SRI. Saw a spinner there. Couldn't tell exactly who that was. Arpal under pressure from SGP, who he recently passed. Look at the gap, though, that Demon R's now got. You know what? I'd be interested to see Demon R's tyres, because I reckon he's going to be pitting within the next 2.5 minutes. Conrod's going to need to be going about another 6 minutes.
SGP on
making a move. Yeah, he's made. And look at his tyres. His tyres are good.
Yeah. So this is where he'll be catching up with the guys that have got more tyre wear. But I don't know how he'll get on with Conrad, because Conrad's is fairly new as well.
It is, but I'm wondering. I fear Conrad may just be going a little too fast. Because when we did last see his tyre wear, I think his front left was a bit more worn than SGP's is here. So SGP trying to close it. Oh, I've just looked at the pack cam. Gary's just gone flying by Rich. SGP all over the back of Jason. I think Jason's struggling with his tyres now, you know. SGP goes up the inside. Up the inside.
Oh, and that pal trying to make a move, but now he's going to find... Oh,
look at the understeer Jason's got there.
Yeah, and plus there was a wee... You know that way where the wheels touch and Jason couldn't get his car turned?
You like the way the wheels touch.
Yeah.
Gary ran the outside of Arpal. What a move. Gary's on fire. Somebody get a fire extinguisher and put him out.
I wonder what his missus' deal was with him in this race.
No comment. No comment.
SGP on the back of Arpal.
Demon R. Yeah, Conrad. Demon R's in the pits from the race lead. Jason in the pits. Someone else is in the pits. Rich Blues. Steve F1 also pitting again. So Conrad leading the race. As I mentioned, though, he's going to have another pit stop to do. So is SGP, but they are in a battle for the lead at the moment. Demon R comes out the pits in 8th place.
Yeah, we've got, 10.5 minutes to go.
And the thing is, I'm looking at this, Ray, and I'm thinking, okay, Demon R's just pitted, as have a group of cars around him. Conrad needs to pit again, so does SGP, so does Gary, Arpal, SRI. Well, SRI's recently pitted, hasn't he? So he may be able to get to the end. Jimmy pitted as well. I'm not sure about Twilight, but I think there could be a few guys pitting again soon. SGP having a look up the inside of Conrad. I'd love to see Conrad's tyres just to see the difference in wear compared to SGP's.
Yeah, I think SGP stuck his nose on the inside there just to give Conrad the dirtier marble on the side of the track there.
Ooh, Conrad coming back.
Finding himself in there.
Lovely battle this side by side. That's one of the things I do love about this car around a track like this. There's so many places you can go side by side, but I think Conrad's tyres are really struggling. Demon R made his way past Twilight. His tyres are dying. I think Twilight's definitely got another pit stop to do, but if we look at it, so we've got SGP there, Conrad, Gary in 3rd place. What the hell? 3rd place, and he's right behind Conrad and SGP. Arpal is closing in on Formula Gary.
Gary's got a better tyres than SGP.
He has. Gary's flying. He's gonna be attacking Conrad down here. Oh, SRI's coming under pressure as well from Demon R. Gary, go on. Are you going to make the move? Are you going to go for it? No, he's not. Demon R is on Arpal. No, SRI is on Arpal. Demon R opted not to do it. He's switched back actually on Arpal on the pack cam. He's got that move done. Took it in behind SRI.
Look at the gain he got there after overtaking Arpal.
Absolutely. Gary up the inside to take the lead. Bloody hell.
This is where he screenshots it and edit it.
yeah. I think we need to get Gary into a private room after this, and you're in testing. Demon R, though, is caught up to Conrad, going round the outside. May have just given Gary a little bit of a nudge as well by accident. SRI trying to get past Conrad. Oh, Jimmy nearly nailed him as well. Conrod's done really well to not end up going round there. Demon R then doing a little bit of a switchback, is he? No, going round the outside. Gary's tyres were good, but I don't know if they're going to be good enough. That may have just compromised Demon R a little bit. Here comes SRI.
Yeah, but he isn't scared to show his nose in.
Oh, that is not. Gary's going to struggle here. His tyres. He's had some brilliant moves, but he needs to get into the pits again, doesn't he? Jimmy's all over the back of him. Jason making a move on Art Powell on the pack cam, and right on the screen there is Jimmy making a move on Gary, side by side. This is some epic racing, I've got to say. Conrad trying to make the move on Jason as well.
Yeah, I think once you're out of line for a couple of corners, it's hard to get back on one.
Absolutely.
That's what Gary would have been finding after SRI stuck his nose up round the long right hander.
Yeah, so I was looking at the pack cam there. I was getting a little busy with Rich. I think that's SGP behind him. Yes, it is. So Demon R has only got a little bit of a lead over SRI. Demon R is going to be trying to go to the end here, but Jimmy's all over the back of SRI. Jimmy wants that second place, but is he going to be able to get it?
SRI just shut the door on him there a wee bit. So is SRI...
Is anyone who's peeling?
Is he going to go to the end?
Sorry, I saw a few people peeling towards the pit lane. I thought there was going to be a big crash. Art Powell and... I didn't see who else it was pitted there. May have been... I really don't know. Might have been Conrad.
Oh, SGP's low on boost.
Ooh.
It's in the red light.
Yeah.
Got a red light.
Turn on the red light. Steve F1, sorry, right behind him, Steve F1 is trying to make a move on Rich. SGP trying to make a move on Jason. But yeah, SGP is low on boost, isn't he? Jason's got plenty. The thing is, if Jason uses his boost, it doesn't match his livery.
Oh, Jason went deep into that corner. SGP got his switch back on him.
He's done him.
Yeah.
Well, this is where, we mentioned earlier, Ray, that this could all come down to the last 10 minutes and when people pit and where they pit from. SGP may have just pulled a blinder. He's making a move on Jimmy now. Look how fresh his tyres are. He's only got 6 minutes to go. I don't know how fresh SRI's tyres are, but SGP's going to be catching him. I don't know how fresh Jimmy's tyres are, but he's got Steve F1 catching him. No, he's not. He's got Jason overtaking him. Oh, that's Steve F1 trying around the outside. Oh, I think Jason's may have just got a little bit of a nudge there by Jimmy.
Yeah, I thought there was a wee nudge in there.
Yeah, Jimmy's pulling over, trying to wait for Jason. That's good to see. Twilight now. He's on fresh tyres.
Yeah, okay, we've not really spoke about it.
Yeah.
Twilight.
Well, you know why? It's because he doesn't like this car. He doesn't like this track. But he's all over the back of Steve F1 at the moment. Steve F1 has got a bit of a gap to SGP. SGP's trying to catch SRI. There's so much going on here. I don't think we've ever had a race that has had this much action.
SRI in the pits.
So, yeah, Jimmy and Rich Blues.
Could this hamper the guys in the front?
Well, it all depends. I mean, I've got to admit, I'm looking at some of these guys' tyre wear and thinking they've got really nice fresh tyres. Demon R's been on his for 6.5 minutes. Are they going to be able to catch him? Because when the tyres go off, the lap times plummet. Connor and Art Powell battling once again.
Or have the guys done their homework and seen what SRI was able to achieve in the F1500s at a shorter version of this track?
Maybe. Conrad and Art Powell, they're having a great battle, but guess what? Here comes Gary. Oh, I think Conrad's done a bit. This
Gary, where you going?
No! Come back, Gary. Oh, Arpow's got a great run on Jason here. I think Jason's got fairly fresh tyres, but just had a bit of a slow corner. Arpow's going to have to be careful, though. If he goes to the wrong place, Connor will get him. Arpow up the inside. Going to have to make sure he gets it slowed down. Conrad going rather fast, went deep. Jason back up the inside. Conrad might get a double switch back here. No, he can't.
Oh, it depends on the run up to the corner, but I don't think he's got that great of a run on him. Might get Jason coming round this corner. Yep, he's going in.
Oh, yep.
Well, he's going to the inside.
I tell you what, Jason's tyres are not old. It's just unfortunate that the cars around him their tyres are fresher. Jimmy and Rich battling on the pack cam once again. So Jason, if he can hang on here, he's got a good chance of gaining places, because there's such a battle going on here for second place. Demon R is, well, he's heading into sort of nearly turn 1 now. Well, he's getting there now. And then we've got a battle. Gary. Oh, you know what? You know why that'll be? That'll be because of that big off. Oh, Conrad up the inside. A little late move, but Artpal saw it coming. Artpal's got the outside line. Go on, Ray, you were going to say?
Yeah, I think Artpal's going to hold it up to here. Oh, Conrad. Oh, that was great racing.
And here comes SRI, who's got the fresher tyres than the cars around him. It's fascinating how... Oh, he's making the move. Go on.
Look at Conrad. He had the red light. He's been calling Roxanne.
Aye.
Artpal, green, is that using it, or he's only got a little left?
No, green means he's still got plenty, or at least he's still got more than a quarter, I think. It flashes when they're using it. Who's that side by side? I think that's SRI and Artpal. Yeah. So it's fascinating in this race how the tides turn so quickly when drivers have got fresh tyres. SRI ran outside with the fresh tyre. That's exactly what I'm on about. That's the kind of move that Artpal was pulling on people a matter of minutes ago, but now his tyres aren't as good as our SRI's. And Conrad, who was also making moves, is also under pressure now from SRI. But can he get a switch back? He's side by side, I think. No, he's tucked in behind. Oh, this...
I can't see the camera. There you go. Come on, camera. But yeah. This is going to be fascinating to watch to the end.
Oh, Jimmy and Artpal. I think Jimmy's got sideways on the curb. Sorry to cut you off there.
No. As you see, SRI, he's harassing. Is he harassing Conrad, or was he pushing Conrad?
No, he's overtaking Conrad is what he's doing. I think Jimmy's on fresher tyres as well, you know. Because Jimmy and Rich pitted, I think maybe same time as SRI, yeah. So this could really swing. Just to let you know, we are on the last lap of the race, looking at the time. So Conrad trying to fight back on SRI up the inside, but SRI's got the fresher tyres. He'll get the better run out the corner. He'll sneak ahead. Conrad trying to use the slipstream, can't make it work.
Oh, SRI!
Oh! Whoa! He nearly binned it. Conrad says, I was going to try doing an accent, but thank you. Jimmy up the inside of Artpal. Rich trying to make a move as well. But Jason's there, and Gary, 4 wide. There is no fuzz here, but there may be a mess here. This is getting chaotic. Oh, 3 wide, 2 wide, 1 wide. Oh, there's contacted into the barrier because SRI, Jason, Artpal, and more. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, disaster for a few
SRI's tyres aren't that great anymore.
No, they're not. I just want to have a look at Demon R's tyres. They're not bad, actually, for giving the point of the race. You know what? Considering the guys behind him pitted later than he did, Demon R's tyres are in pretty good condition, but he's been able to pace it out at the front. This fight is still not over. Gary having a look up the inside at Conrad, which will become the outside. Oh, a little touch through. Conrad nudges Gary a little bit wide, maybe. Is Conrad letting him through? Yes, he is. Well done, Conrad, but that's also let Rich and Jimmy through. This is madness of the highest order. Oh, Jimmy. Jimmy don't close doors, he slams them.
Conrad trying to get past Rich there. Rich try to hold his position.
Keep an eye on the pack cam. Keep an eye on the pack cam, because Demon R is heading around the final corner for the final time.
Gary's trying to get
He's trying, it's close, isn't it? Demon R's going to take the victory. SGP, is he going to hold on for second? Yes, he is. Someone's in the wall. I think it's Connor in the wall. Twilight's going to be fourth. Stephen for third. And Rich finishes just ahead of Jason. What a finish. Conrad, it's disaster. Oh, across the line is going to come Artpal. Is Conrad going to make it to the line? I don't know if he is going to make it to the line. SRI is still heading. Yeah, SRI is through, and I think... Well, maybe Conrad's car has given up the ghost, but what a race! What a race!
Yeah, that was a race.
Oh.
That was some epic racing, and then you just had that big
Well, you know what? I'm hearing in my ear that what people think may have happened at that corner, the big crash, may not be what people think happened. Butterfly effect comes to mind.
Butterfly.
Yeah,
Concertina.
you know the butterfly effect, yeah?
No.
A butterfly flaps its wings over here, causes a tsunami the other side of the world. You're like, what? Is the butterfly effect. Or, for the more modern interpretation, the film Butterfly Effect. That's where you've not seen it?
No.
Watch the Butterfly Effect. It's got, I was going to say Keanu Reeves, but it's not Keanu Reeves. It's the one that's married to Mila Kunis. Ashton Kutcher. It is one hell of a movie, and explains the butterfly effect beautifully. But yeah, what a race. I mean, so much action, so many overtakes, so many moves. I mean, I don't know where to start on that. I really don't. I mean, I've made so many notes, so I'm going to need to get some more pens, especially considering that I went into a stationery shop the other day and I didn't get very far.
Did you not?
No.
All right.
Because it's stationary.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, what a race.
Did you know Winnie the Pooh and Alexander the Great had something in common?
Oh, you know what? I'm sure I saw this today. Go on.
The middle name?
Oh, God, it's not the one I thought then. Jesus. Right, okay, fair enough. Obviously, Jesus wasn't his name. It was the... right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah. There were some crashes during that race. I'm not entirely sure what happened with Conrad right at the end there. I'm sure maybe that's something we might be able to get a look at on next week's G-Spot. I will mention there is a G-Spot this week, folks, of which we'll have a look at why Dave the Harp got a penalty last week, and a couple of other things. Anything that's been reported from this race, though, won't be looked at on this week's G-Spot. It'll be on next week's G-Spot, because the stewards haven't looked at anything that may have been reported yet, at least at the time of recording this. So we have
The last time we tried with
yeah, without the stewards' comments, it was a bit of a mess, wasn't it?
Well, we had them, but
yeah,
they were in memory, not
did not been written out. Yeah,
they hadn't been written out. So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, crashes in that race, but think about how many times we saw cars side by side for multiple corners. And that is, as I said during the race, that's one of the things I like about this car and a track like this. There are a lot of those really fast corners where you can go side by side, and it really does make for really exciting racing. Really does. I mean, I genuinely don't think we've had a race that's had more action in it than that one. And that's saying something, really.
No, we do tend to find this track and the smaller version of the track, depending on the car, does give some great racing. And there is other tracks that we've had where we've not been able to put in jokes or have a chat. It's just complete action, and the guys put on a great show, even though it's not for a show, it's racing. They put on a great show.
Yeah.
Don't watch Formula 1 on a Sunday, come here.
Yeah, it's boring Formula 1. I mean, one thing I will say is as well, I mean, in a race like we've had there today, I mean, I do want to sort of touch on something regarding DGT League, is that, I mean, sort of, if we ask the question, why is it we race in DGT League? We just do it to have a laugh, and it's a bit of fun. And yeah, okay, we record it, we do commentary on it, we keep points and scores, but we actually don't want to take ourselves too seriously. And it is easy to end up getting too competitive. And sometimes it's handy if everybody can take a step back and go, you know what? Yeah, I may be competitive, but I don't want to make this competitive. I want to have fun and enjoy it. And a part of that is that sometimes shit happens on the racetrack, and the best thing you can do is try and laugh it off.
Rage quit.
Yeah, rage quit. The best thing you can do is try and laugh it off, because mistakes will happen, and sometimes I think, we've said it before, it's so easy to think you know what's happened and then find out afterwards, oh, that's not what happened. So that's why we always say, like, we do it for the fun of it, so just try and enjoy it. So, but in a race like we've had today, where the tyre wear is so severe, and you've got guys on, Steve F1 will hate me for this because it'll sound like I'm stealing his lines, although I argued against him the other day, this exact point. You've got guys on fresh tyres against guys on old tyres. The speed difference is massive. And it can have an effect. I don't deny that. But what I did argue with Steve F1 was that, well, I reckon we're all good enough to deal with it. Accidents might happen, but worn tyres is not an excuse that can get you off an incident. Which nope. Steve wasn't denying. He was just wanting to make the point that there was a big difference around this track of fresh tyres compared to old ones, which there was. And when you add in...
But
go on.
Then the drivers should be driving to what their tyres are capable of.
But that's not always easy if you've had no practice and you don't know what they're capable of. But,
I know, Conrad, but... If your tyres are worn, you're going to have to break that wee bit earlier. So,
I mean, that's the thing. If your tyres are quite worn, going on the attack is probably not the wisest of things to do. But it's easy for mistakes to happen and people to perceive it as, oh, they're on the attack and they, like, the tyres can't handle it or whatever. But yeah, I personally, I just think that's been a great race to watch. Regarding the championship standings, with Steve F1 finishing in third place, it does open the gap a little bit. It means the title fight will go down to the final race of the season.
That's going to be quite a battle then.
Yeah. Well, I'm not, at this moment in time, I'm not 100% certain on what the points gap is, because I can't remember what the gap is before this race. I think it's somewhere around about 12 points. I may be wrong. Somewhere,
I don't have a clue.
No, I don't. 10 or 12 points, something like that. But with it being anywhere sort of 10 points or above, with the way that this season has gone, it's going to need for one of the guys to score 10 or more points than the other. I don't think that's really happened yet, this championship. So it could happen, but it's going to take maybe an error or misfortune. It's going to come down to the final race.
Or somebody to come and get golf clubs at the wrong time.
Well, they can bugger off. My phone is off at that time. Although I did go and pick some off a lovely young lady earlier today. And I'll get this right. I get there and I'm looking at the golf clubs, the bag, the trolley and all this. And she's got this lovely little dog who came out running up to me. Cutest dog I've ever seen, really. Cuter than Gizmo. So chatting to the lady.
I'm telling Gizmo.
Yeah, chatting to the lady, and she says, I said, okay, I'll have them. She goes, I appreciate that. It means I can make a bit more space at my place now. I said, yeah, and less space at mine. And she goes, oh, well, your missus ain't going to like that, is she? I said, well,
what did you say?
I said, I'm single, so it don't matter. So I got 6 of these fucking things. Which she laughed at, and then as we sort of stood there talking, I was thinking, hang on a minute, was she just making chit chat, or was she trying to find out if I'm single? Do you know what a guy's mind? It's like, oh, that woman smiled at me. She fancies me. I'm gonna obsess about her now. when actually she probably just farted. But yeah, you know what those guys are like. So now I'm like, was she asking if I was trying to find out if I was single, or was she just making chit chat?
Did you find out?
No.
Why not?
Because I'm not that socially prepared. I mean, what am I going to do? Tell a bad joke?
Well, guess what? I've just been handed a piece of paper, okay?
Oh, God.
Why did the frog take the bus to work today?
Because the bus... Why did the frog not take the bus?
Why did the frog take the bus to work today?
Because his car got towed.
Yeah. What gets longer when pulled, fits between breasts, inserts neatly in a hole, and what? I can't read your right.
Works better when jerked.
And works best when jerked.
Bacon.
A seatbelt.
Oh. See, now, yeah, okay. Well done, Kirsty.
Back.
Yeah. It's alright. Well, here you are then. Who shaves 10 times a day but still has a beard?
Don't know.
A barber. I used
Depends if he's got a beard.
I used to hate facial hair, but now it grows on me.
Does it?
What did the hungry clock do?
I don't know, but I think it's time.
It went back for seconds. Go on, what's it time for?
It's time for the next track.
Oh, he remembered. Go on then.
Track name. It's the Dynamic GT Seaside. Now, this is one of the test tracks we use all the time on, excuse me, testing the cars. Track length 3.24 miles, 19 corners, tire damage red. Try to remember where the start line is after.
It's just above the G. It's between Not Stoppard and Demon's Elbow.
So down into a little kink and then into Demon's into Demon's Elbow, not into a little kink.
No.
Demon's
Demon's Elbow is the chicane.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
right, well, let's start again. So you start on the start-finish line, go straight down past the little right-hand kink.
Oh, no,
Hard
sorry,
on the
the
brake.
kink is Demon's Elbow.
You're a...
I'm winding you up. To be fair, it is the king.
hard on the brakes. I would say maybe second to third gear on this first chicane. Just watch, because if you're late on the brakes, you're going to go into the wall, or if you get on the accelerator too early, it's going to probably drift you out a wee bit wide on more tyres, and then it's downhill into a slight right-hander. Just be careful of the curb there. If you get it wrong, it may bounce you over to the other side of the track. And then hard onto the brakes, broke back right-hand turn. About second, third gear. I don't know the gears, I'm just kind of generalising. And then it's hard on accelerator all the way up past the curve through the S's up the hill. And then on good tyres, should be flat out. Worn tyres, don't know because I've not tried it. So you get over the brow of the hill, all the way down, and hard on the brakes for harbour hairpin. Now, just get your braking point right, or else you're either hitting the fucking harbour or you're hitting somebody else into the harbour. And that'll be. I think that'll be one of the places we'll have the most overtakes with maybe switchbacks and that, because depending on where you are, you can, and how you take the corner, you can do switchbacks or maybe go around the outside, and then it's back on the accelerator, Maybe a couple of shit games. They bust up Mitch Bumhole. I say bum and not bomb. But yeah, so they could be flat out to begin with, but remember when your tyres start wearing, your car doesn't handle as great as it once was. So might see a few crashes, especially people following with the dirty air. So might be a few crashes there, a few hits in the wall, and then a fair straight to not stopping, hard on the brakes, about a third gear corner, second gear, if you're late on the brakes, try to turn it in, and then flat out and just watch in case somebody's wanting the pits and you're on the wrong side.
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell that by experience.
Well, a couple of things there. I think you're absolutely right with some of the sections of the track which will be flat out on fresh tyres. I don't know what they'll be like on worn tyres. So from Dick Curve up the S's, Mitch's Bumhole, Demon's Elbow should be flat out even with worn tyres. But again, with, as you mentioned, the dirty air, that'll have a big effect. As what some of the drivers found out in today's race, the dirty air has a much bigger effect in high downforce scenarios. So if you're going through flat out corners and you're following someone, you're going to be affected more than if you're in a slow tight hairpin. So yeah, it will be a factor, but the car is amazing around this track. I think it's, and the thing is as well, we all know this track, which I think is why it's kind of been, it's in the trilogy that we've done, the Expo, the F1500, and this season, the DGT Seaside has not been used in any of the previous two championships because it was viewed as, it's not three separate championships in a way, it's more like it is three separate championships, but as the tracks were concerned, there is the tracks were different for each of the championships apart from I think Spain, we ended at Laguna Seca in the Expo, started at Laguna Seca in the F1500, ended in Spain I think in the 1500, I could be wrong here, and started at Spain in no, we didn't end in Spain, so it would just be the Laguna Seca. I'm waffling now, getting confused with myself. But yeah, so basically the Seaside has been saved for the last few championships to be used at this point, so that the drivers would have full opportunity of getting used to the cars, this car, to be able to take it around the Seaside at its maximum potential. Because Ray, as I'm sure you'll agree, if we'd have gone in this car around the Seaside in the first race of the season, it would have been great, but those drivers, well, potentially, but those guys who don't get to practice, at least now they've had a number of races practice and they've got an idea of what the car can do. So when they get to a track that they really should know quite well, that it's going to be sort of less damaging for them not having much practice. I mean, whether we're going to see anybody try braving through Mitch's Bumhole side by side, I don't know. The other thing to mention as well quickly is that the tyre damage indicator is red because it is bad around here, but in comparison to the race we've just done, it probably should be a green. I wouldn't be surprised if we see two-stop strategies easily at the Seaside. It's not that punishing on tyres compared to what we've seen today. I'm wondering if there was anything else that we wanted to mention there.
There is.
Okay. Before I say thank you to Ray, I will quickly mention that yes, there is a G-Spot this week, and part of that G-Spot is going to be a reading of the notice that was sent to all of the drivers this last week about about a protocol change. So if you've received the picture and you haven't read it, or you find it too difficult to read, listen to the G-Spot. We'll go through that at the end of the G-Spot. So yeah, I thought I'd let you know about that. Okay, Ray, thank you very much for joining me on commentary.
No worries, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for Kirsty for giving you a dodgy joke. And let's check out the confirmed race result and the championship standings. Confirmation then of the race result, and I'll get it out of the way straight away. You'll notice there is a few penalties been applied here. 3 penalty points for Jimmy, 3 for Gary, and 6 for Jason. There were a number of reports placed after the race, and to be honest, I'm not surprised with the difficulty of the tyre wear, the nature of the circuit. It was one hell of a race to watch, but there were a few moments that drivers will have wanted clarification on. So all of the information is on the DGT League Facebook page, the stewards post, but also all of the reports will be dealt with on next week's G-Spot. Not the G-Spot that's coming out tomorrow, it'll be next week's G-Spot. Okay, on to the confirmation then. Demon R taking the victory, the maximum 20 points. SGP finishing in second place, 17 for him. Steve F1 third place, 15 points for him. Twilight, what a result for him, finishing in fourth with 13 points. Jimmy, he's done well to finish in fifth, but unfortunately with those penalty points that'll knock a few off for him. Same for Gary, they were so close over the start finish line right at the end. Rich Blues finished in seventh place, bags 10 points. Jason 8th place, 9 points, but he's going to lose a few of those. Art Powell finished in 9th place with waiting for SRI at the end there. And SRI finishing in 10th place with Conrad 11th, but with a DNF because he did not cross the finish line. Bit of a shame that, but clearly they're 6 points that Jason could have done with. But yeah, Connor decided not to take them. Okay, let's have a look at what that has done then to the championship standings. With one race to go then, Demon R leading the way on 151 points, 14 ahead of Steve F1, which means that pretty much Steve F1 is going to need to win the race with Demon R finishing about, 15th or lower or not at all. So yeah, they'll still fight it out though on the racetrack. Third place SGP on 96 points, jumps ahead or stays ahead of Art Powell. Art Powell now on 84, a few ahead of Conrad. If he'd have got those 6 points, he'd have been tied for fourth. Yeah, a little unfortunate there for Conrad. Sixth place then for Jason on 75 points, with Twilight now in 7th on 61 points. Formerly Gary and Jimmy then are tied in 8th place on 57 points each. David Harp drops down to 10th place on 54 points. Rich Blues in 11th on 48, while SRI is now in 12th on 42 points. Hey Fluffy, Bunsell and Mitch, their points not having changed. As I mentioned, only one more race to go. The championship will be decided. The battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th will be decided. The battle for 7th, because there's only 4 points between 7th, 8th and 8th. And then another 3 points to 10th. And then only another 4 points, 6 points to 11th. It's still very, very close with a lot to play for as we head to the final race of the season. At the DGT Seaside, as we've already talked about, it is one hell of a track in these cars, so hopefully we're going to have one hell of a race in these cars as well. Okay folks, thanks for listening, for watching. If you've liked the video, you know what to do. Hit like, subscribe, notifications bell, all that jazz. Share it around, because the more viewers there are, the more people can hear our dodgy jokes. Although that might not be a good thing, seeing as Ray has started racking up the amount of jokes he's going to be telling. Don't forget as well, there is going to be the DGT G-Spot Monday, 6 PM, where we're going to have a look at the incident report from last week's race, but also a couple of other interesting things that have happened in the last couple of races. Okay folks, have a good one, and we'll see you all again soon.